So today we will have a look at a new commercial collection, the Polymaths suite for Magus Instrumentalis. It contains 4 modules. We have the Ars Memorium, this is the main module, and we have also 3 more modules that work with it, and we will go through everything in this video. Let's start with a quick look at the Ars Memorium. Basically, it allows us to save sorts of presets with up to 16 different values and scan and morph between them in all sorts of ways, which can be great for adding motion to your sound or for experimenting while working on sound design. So let's really see how everything works and look at a few examples. Okay, so here we have a sequence coming from the Modulo sequencer sequencing Terraform from Velo. This is going through some delay. Let's have a listen. I also have a filter here, tangents in the feedback loop of the delay, and this is going through some overdrive with Vacumba from Hora. Okay, now there's a lot to play with here. There is a lot to do here to change the sound, for example on Terraform. Also the decay of the envelope. We can change the wet amount of the delay to get different results. Of course, the filter. And of course, add more overdrive. And this is something that can work really well with the Ars Memorium. But before we start connecting anything, in the right-click menu, we can change the output range. We can have it unipolar or bipolar. Let's change this to bipolar, negative to positive 5 volts in this case. And let's start connecting a few things. So let's, for example, use this to modulate the wave. I just opened the attenuverter here, also the shaper and the enhanced depth. And let's change also, control also the decay time of the envelope, maybe take it a bit down. And as we said, also the wet amount, the filter, and also the gain of Vacumba. So those are the outputs. Here we have the corresponding knobs. So the first knob will come out from the first output, the second from the second output, and so on. Okay, so now in order to start saving different presets, we need to change here to edit mode. If I zoom in a bit, we have here edit and recall. We have to change this to edit mode so we can start editing the parameters. And now we can start making changes. So let's, for example, start with the wave and maybe also Vacumba a bit. Maybe something like this. So this will be the first snapshot I will want to save. So now we have to select where to save it, and this we can do with the X and Y controls. And you can see here on the grid, this red point is moving. So let's save it, let's say somewhere here. Now I just hit save, and it saved this preset or this snapshot. Now let's change a few more things. Let's do maybe even more decay. What was the decay? Number 4. Something like this. A bit brighter maybe. So this will be snapshot number 2. Again, let's select a different place, and here you can see we have 1 snapshot saved. Let's go somewhere here, let's say, and again save. Again, let's change a few parameters. Maybe something. This I wanted. This is nice. Okay, maybe something like this. Again, we change where we want to save the preset and save it. Now we can start morphing between those snapshots by going to recall mode, and now we can use the X and Y to morph. and of course we can use external signals to do this for us. So let's use two LFOs from Borg Audio. I will set them to slow, maybe one will be a triangle wave, set different frequencies or different rates, and now we can modulate the X and Y position, and you can see we have movement. Now we have the interpolation control that allows us to change the amount of influence each snapshot has at different positions. So if I take it all the way to the left, it will be sort of transparent. There will be no change. You can see there are no lines connecting between them. But as I start bringing them in, and if I take it all the way to the right, we'll have more change or more influence for the different snapshots. Very nice. Let's add some drums to this. I have here the gate sequencer sequencing a few proc modules. Let's unmute this. Oh yeah. Of course, this will work also nicely at audio rates. Okay, very nice. Let's have a look at another example. Okay, so here we have a drum groove. I have here the gate sequencer sequencing again a few drum modules from proc. This is how it sounds like. Very nice. Okay, now I have here also some processing chains. So I have here, for example, Chronoblob with the font in the feedback loop, and I'm using VCAs, as you can see here, just to bring in and out the drums. So this is the delay. I also have here Nektar, which is also a delay, but I'm modulating the delay time. I have here a comparator, so I'm sending the drums through a comparator. Oh yeah. And I have here also Booty Shifter, which is a frequency shifter from Squinty Labs. This will be the effect. And I have here also plateau, but in this case the diffusion is all the way down, so I have more of a delay than a reverb. Very nice. Now we can use the Ars Memoriam to create different snapshots. So let's go to edit mode and now create a few presets. So first of all, I will connect this to all of the VCAs. Let's take also the values for now all the way down. I have it set in this case to 0 to positive 10 volts because I want to control the VCAs, and this is the range of the VCAs. Let's open them and start creating a few presets or a few snapshots, if you will. So let's start with the delay, for example, and the comparator. Let's go to one corner and save it. Now let's go to a different corner and let's use, for example, Nektar and plateau. Another corner will be, let's say, a Booty Shifter and the comparator. And another corner will be, let's say again, the delay and plateau. And let's say that in the center I will have again the comparator and maybe also Nektar and the delay, something weird. Okay, so now we have a few presets that we can scan through just like before, but we can also jump between the points if we use sample and hold, for example. So here I have the one from Mokba. Let's go to recall mode so we can again change and scan and move between the presets. You can see the VCAs, how they change. But what I want again in this case is to use a sample and hold. So it will not scan. If I zoom in a bit, it will not scan, it will just jump between different points on the grid, and you will get different results. Oh yeah. We can also modulate the interpolation, which again will give us different results and different sounds. Oh yeah. Okay, let's add a nice bass to it. I have here Squonk sequencing the percussive vibration, going through some delay. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Madness. Okay, very cool. Let's have a look at another example. Okay, let's have a look now at the Enochian Tablet module. Basically, it's a VCA matrix mixer, so each of its CV inputs are VCAs, and it works really well with the Ars Memoriam. It has also a couple of options in the right-click menu, so we can activate DC blocking if we're working with audio, or deactivate it when working with CV. And we can choose to saturate the outputs, so when creating weird feedback loops, your computer will not explode, or at least it will keep your speakers and ears safe. So here I have three voices. I have here again the modulo sequencer sequencing the FM operator. It will sound like this. Then I have here another sequencer, the grid sequencer, sequencing kitchen sink. And I have here the note sequencer, again JW, sequencing Basil from Volt. Very nice. So now what we will do, we'll send them first to the matrix mixer, to the Enochian Tablet. So this will be the first voice, the second voice, and the third voice. And then from there we will take one output directly to the mixer, and I have here another output going first to Vacumba and then to the mixer, and another output going to Supercell. Okay, and now this is how it will work. Each row is corresponding to one input. So row 1 is corresponding to input 1, row 2 is corresponding to input 2, and so on. And they are also aligned with the outputs. So if, for example, I want to have input 1 coming out of output 1, I will have to control VCA1, which will be this one. Very nice. So now let's connect all of the different cables, and what I will do, I will keep this this order. So those three will be the three knobs here on the left, and then we will have the next three knobs, and then we will have the next three knobs. So I know that this is output 1, this is output 2, and this is output 3. And now we can start and create a few different snapshots. So let's select somewhere here, for example, and let's see. Maybe this will be 1. And then let's do this. Maybe some delay. Very nice. And then another one. Maybe some Bakumba, okay. And maybe another snapshot, maybe somewhere down here. Let's go with more delay. Oh yes. Okay, so this is another snapshot, and now again we can morph between those snapshots with, for example, random smooth signal that I have here from Walk. from Borg Audio. So let's change this to recall so we can really move between the snapshots. And now I will use walk to modulate this. Let's make this a bit quicker, maybe add some interpolation, or maybe a bit less actually, something like this. So we have movement and different sequences coming in and out. Okay, now there's also a small menu we can use. We can go in this menu with this button, and then we can save the plot, for example. So it will save all of the settings we have here. Let's go with plot 1. Now we have it saved. So if, for example, I load an empty plot, let's load this. We have nothing saved here. Let's say that I want to save something, I don't know what. Let's save this here. And let's save, recall mode, and let's save this, for example, here. Very nice. Now I can go back. So this will be the new plot. Now I can go back. I'm not satisfied with these settings, so I can go back and load the plot I saved. So now we have the settings we had in the first plot. So this is also really useful. Okay, another thing we can do, we can have a look at the knob state. So here you can see the knobs are not moving according to the position of the snapshots. But if I activate this, we can see the movement. Let's do this a bit quicker. We can see the movement of the knobs and how they are in each of the snapshots. So this is also really useful. And by the way, we can use the Enochian Tablet also without the Ars Memorium. So here up, for example, I have something ready. I have here the trigger sequencer triggering a few envelopes, AD envelopes from Nischi. And I have here 3 voices. I have 3 basic oscillators from Squinky Labs going to inputs 1, 2, and 3. And I'm again through the VCAs. I'm controlling the amplitude of those voices. This is how it will sound like. Oh yeah. Very nice. And what else I'm doing here, I have also a sort of a feedback loop. So I have output 4 going into a delay, the delay from VCV, but the delay is going back to the matrix mixer or the VCA matrix mixer to input 4, and I'm sending input 4 back into the delay. So the signal goes to the delay, goes back to the mixer, and then goes back to the delay, and so on. So we created a sort of a feedback loop. Let me unmute this, and this will sound like this. When I take the feedback up, we will start hearing it. Oh yeah. So we can create all sorts of crazy feedback loops. And this is again where the built-in saturation helps. Okay, so now let's have a look at the alternative mode, the random search mode. Okay, so first of all, I have here a few oscillators mixed. So I have 2 Blick from Volt, I have Pellet, I have the complex oscillator from Live 4 Modular. This is being mixed and going through tangents. It sounds like this. Very nice. Now, as you can see, I have most of the controls already connected to the different parameters of the oscillators. But now we will use the random search mode to randomly put everything in motion. So this we can find in the right-click menu, random search. Already you can see we have things here in motion, and you can hear it also. Very nice. Now we can offset the starting points with the individual knobs when we are in edit mode. So we can do something like this, for example. Go back to recall. Very nice. We can change the rate of this movement with the X control, so we can make this faster. Look here on the knobs. I will go maybe a bit more zoomed in. And we can make this also slower. But let's do something like this. Then we can change the smoothness of change with the Y control, so we can make this a bit more rigid to just jump from one to another. Or we can make this really smooth. Now the cool thing is we can randomly save snapshots in random positions. So for example, if now I hit save, you see we have a snapshot here saved with the settings that were at the moment we hit save. If I hit it again, we have in a different place, and I can just save like this a few different snapshots. Now if I want to delete a snapshot, by the way, it will delete the last one created. So I can just experiment and have a few snapshots in different places, something like this, that were generated also randomly. And now if we go back to the normal mode, we can use those snapshots just like before. So let's switch this back to interpolation, which is the normal mode. And now a nice module for morphing between the presets can be, for example, permutation from grayscale. I have here the main module, and I'm using also the variant to get another sequence. I'm sending this first through slew limiters just to get a smoother signal. So let's send those sequences to the X and Y, and let's do something like this. So we have movement. Now of course we can lock the sequence and get something a bit more repetitive. Oh yeah. Let's open the filter a bit. Oh yes. Okay, now let's sidechain this voice, this drone with the main clock. So I have here this voice is going through a VCA, and I have the DADSR envelope from Bog Audio sending an inverted envelope to the VCA. So when I trigger it, it will duck the amplitude of this voice. And now you know what is coming next. I have here Knock from Volt as our kick drum. Oh yeah. Maybe we can add some hi-hats. I have here the hi-hat module from Hora. Oh yeah. Okay, now I'm using here another Ars Memorium. In this case I'm using it to generate pitch information. So what I'm doing, I have a few snapshots saved. So I have different values coming out of in this case I'm using 4 outputs. And I'm using again a locked sequence from permutation to sequence between those points. In this case I'm not using a slew limiter because I want it for pitch information. I don't want slew in this case. But you can see I'm getting 4 different repetitive sequences. Now what I'm doing, I'm sequencing those sequences with a sequential switch. So I get one long sequence, and this is going first through an VCA, an attenuator, because I don't want the whole range. I just want an octave or 2 for pitch information. This is sequencing the percussive vibration, going through some delay. Let's unmute this. Oh yes. Oh man. So again, I can use this also to generate pitch information, up to 16 different sequences if I want. I can chain them, I can combine them, I can mix them, and all sorts of different things. But now let's have a look at Velo and Vert. Okay, so Vert will invert a signal, but it will also offset it at the same time. So here I have just constant voltage I can use. That's the blue trace on the scope, and the pink trace is the inverted or mirrored signal. So you can see when I go up with the blue trace, the pink trace goes down. So we have basically a mirrored signal. Now this was added to the collection in order to easily use something like a Midi joystick if you want to invert the X and Y. But of course there are other uses to this in the modular environment. Now we also have Velo. This will also help with using a Midi joystick. It will recreate this behavior similar in games. So the more you go forward, the quicker you go, the same in the other direction. So here I have again the offset. If I go above 5 volts, the more I go closer to 10, you can see it will move quicker. We get an exponential curve. The same in the other direction, we will get a logarithmic curve. The more I go towards 0, the quicker it goes. So again, those are great if you want to use a joystick to control the Ars Memorium and morph between the saved presets. I don't have a joystick unfortunately, but let me show you something you can do with Vert. For example, here down I have something ready. So I have here a sequence. I have the ADDR sequencer sequencing the percussive vibration going through some delay. This is how it will sound like. Now sending this sequence to Vert, you can see here to input A of Vert. From Vert we will get a sort of a counterpoint to this sequence. You can see this here on the scope. One is going up, the other is going down, and vice versa. So this is sequencing, this inverted signal is sequencing the FM operator, which will sound like this. Very nice. Now here I have another voice. I have here another ADDR sequencer sequencing the additive vibration. Now the additive vibration has 3 CV inputs for pitch. So I'm using once directly the sequence, and once I'm sending the sequence to the B input of Vert. So it's again inverting this sequence. So I get sorts of chords, I guess. And again, we can use the Ars Memorium to scan and morph between the different settings of the voices. I have here something set up. Let's use LFOs to do this for us. You can see here the movement. Oh yeah. Okay, of course there are many more ways we can use Ars Memorium and the whole collection. There will be links in the description to where you can get this collection and also to the patches we looked at today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you enjoy what I do, consider becoming a patron. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and hit the bell, and have a good one.